Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be discussing my summer reading plans. So this is obviously going to cover June, July, and August. I am going to go through the new releases and the re-releases and then just some other books that I have on my TBR. And then we'll end the video with my TBR jar picks for June, July, and August. I feel like my spring reading was pretty good. I read a decent amount of books and I feel like my ratings were pretty decent. I'm definitely way more excited about the summer releases. There are a lot of new releases that are coming out in June specifically that I'm very excited about. So I feel like I probably will read more this summer just because I'm kind of in the mood to read a lot of new books and new releases. The first 2 weeks of June are going to be a little busy for me. I am going on a little trip with my friends for a couple days, so I will be busy with that. So I don't really know if I'm going to have a reading vlog for June. Actually, I might have one at the end of the month, but the goal is to try to have at least one reading vlog a month and like a specific reading vlog, like not really a challenge, but just like reading specific books for a vlog. I do have like 4 vlogs kind of floating in my mind that I want to do. I will share 2 in this video, but yeah, I want to try to do more reading vlogs. I just need to be more in the mood, and I feel like I don't really have that much time either to execute each vlog, but I am going to try for the summer. I will leave my Goodreads list linked down below that has all of the new releases that I'm going to be talking about, so if you want to know more information about them, they will be in that list. I'm going to start with all the new releases first in release date order, and then I will quickly talk about the re-releases. So starting off with June, we have All My Kisses for You by Monica Murphy. This is the first book in the Lancaster Prep Next Generation series. So this is a spinoff of her other series, Lancaster Prep. This is obviously about the next generation, which is the kids, and this first book is Crew and Wren's daughter, I do believe, Willow. And I'm very excited for this book. I loved A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, so I'm very excited to see Crew and Wren as parents, but also I'm excited to see their daughter and her love story. Obviously, this is like a new adult high school, prep school vibe, old money vibes, and the hero is a star quarterback, which is fun. So I'm excited for this one. Then we have Leather and Lark by Brynne Weaver. This is the second book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. This is a dark romance, and it also is kind of like a rom-com. Like, it's funny, a little lighthearted, but it's also pretty dark. This follows Lachlan, who is the brother of the hero in the first book. This is his story, and he is another type of killer. And Lark is best friends with the heroine from the first book, and she is a singer, I do believe, and I'm pretty sure Lachlan and Lark have to get married. So it's marriage of convenience, and I'm pretty sure that they don't really like each other. So kind of like hate to love. I don't want to know too much about this book because I feel like this is the type of story I like to go into blind. So I'm very excited for this. I loved the first book, and I can't wait to see what happens next to these characters. Then we have Crossroads by Devney Perry. This is the first book in her new series called Haven River Ranch. I believe this is second chance romance, and I think it takes place on a ranch or small town vibes. I'm not entirely sure, but I love Devney Perry. It has been a while since I've read her books, but her books are always pretty short, so I don't really like to know a lot about the plot, so I don't really want to know anything else about this, but I'm excited to read it. And I also love the cover. And the last new release for June that I'm very excited about. This is my most anticipated read of the entire year, and that is A Novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. First of all, I'm obsessed with this cover. It is gorgeous. I love all the colors. I especially love the blue. I'm obsessed with this cover, and I know I'm going to be obsessed with this book. I know I'm going to love it, even though I don't know much about it, and I kind of don't want to know anything about it because Ashley Poston's books are just an experience. You have to like read them to fully get the vibes and fully understand the story. And all I do know about this is that the heroine falls in love with the hero, who is a like fictional boyfriend. He's from a book. I think she like steps into this town and it turns out to be fiction, kind of like she's trapped in a book a little bit. I think I might vlog me reading this book because I loved The Dead Romantics and The 7-Year Slip, and I have a feeling I'm going to love this one as well, and I really want to try to start vlogging books that I know I'm going to love. So I think I'm going to do a whole reading vlog just for this book, and hopefully I love it. I have a feeling I will, because I've loved her other 2 books, and this one just sounds fun and unique and probably heartbreaking, and I'm just very excited. Now for July releases, we have The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. This is a hockey romance. I don't know much about this. Oh, his best friend and teammate's little sister. I loved The Fake Mate by Lana Ferguson, and that one was obviously paranormal, so I'm excited to see how she writes a contemporary hockey romance. Then we have another hockey romance, If You Want Me by Helena Hunting. This is the second book in the Toronto Terror series. I am pre-filming this a little early, so there is no current cover for this book, but I somewhat enjoyed the first book. I had some like mixed feelings on that one, but I'm very excited for this book because it follows Hollis and, oh, I'm blanking on her name. I'm pretty sure she had like a weird nickname in the first book, but this is an age gap best friend's daughter hockey romance. We kind of got a little bit of a tease for them and their story in the first book, and I am already obsessed, so I cannot wait to read this. I know there's gonna be lots of angst and lots of secrets and a forbidden aspect, which I'm excited to read about, and I can't wait for this one. Then we have The Blackbird Oracle by Deborah Harkness. This is the 5th book in the All Souls series, and this, I think, is just a continuation of the series. So this continues to follow Diana and Matthew. I feel like I can't really say much else about this because it does kind of spoil the other books in the series if you haven't read it or seen the TV show. I guess the main premise of this book is that Diana finds out that she has a great aunt that she never knew existed. So I'm curious to see what that's going to entail. I don't love when series are kind of like complete and then the author decides to write more with the characters, and I feel like sometimes it can kind of ruin the magic of the initial series or like the initial characters, but I am curious. I really liked the 4th book, Times Convert, which I have over here, and I don't feel like that necessarily ruined the characters or the initial ending of the initial trilogy. But even though I'm excited to read this one and see where everything goes, I'm also quite nervous because I don't know if I'm ready to be back with these characters again and see more things happen to them, but I'm excited. And then for August, we only have one new release that I'm excited about, and that is Daydream by Hannah Grace. This is the 3rd book in the Maple Hill series, and this, of course, is a hockey romance. This is Henry's story, and I believe he falls in love with like his tutor. I feel like these books are just very easy to read, and that's why I keep reading the series, even though I don't love any of the books in the series. I mean, maybe I'll love this one, but I think Icebreaker and Wildfire, I each gave like 3 stars, so I didn't love them, but I definitely want to read this 3rd book, and I don't know, they're just fun, easy, and I am a sucker for a hockey romance. Now onto some re-releases. There's only 2 in here that I haven't read yet, but the other ones I have read already. So the first one is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. This is the 1st book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and this is the new Bloom edition. This I'm very excited about. I have not read this book before. I have been waiting for the Bloom editions just because I think they're so pretty, so I'm probably going to hopefully read this entire series as each book gets released. I have very mixed feelings about Elsie Silver, but I've heard really wonderful things about this series, and I've heard especially great things about the later books in the series, so maybe I'll end up like jumping around this series, but I do want to try the 1st book. All I know about this is that it is a cowboy small town romance, and I'm very excited about it. I also just love these new covers. They're so pretty. I talked about this in my On Topic video that I posted a month ago, 2 months ago. So I don't know if this is like legit actually coming out, but the release date is still June 25th, I think. And that is the new cover of White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Ermintrout. This is the 1st book in the Dark Element series. I love this series. I won't be purchasing this new cover because I already do have 3 editions of this first cover, so I won't be buying these new covers, but I did just want to mention this in case somebody wants to buy this new edition. Again, I don't know if this is actually real because on Amazon and on Indigo, this new cover is available, but JLA has not announced this new cover yet, so I don't know, but it is available to purchase June 25th. A new cover JLA has announced is the new edition of Obsidian. This is the first book in the Lux series, and this is the new hardcover edition. The entire series is getting new covers, new re-releases, and they should all be in hardcover. I will be purchasing this cover because I love this series and I do eventually want to reread it, and I would love to have it in a hardcover edition, so I will be purchasing this. This is a young adult aliens sci-fi romance. Very fun, very dramatic series. I will be purchasing the entire series with the new covers. We, of course, are also getting new covers of the Covenant series by JLA, so the second book, Pure, is out in July. I will also be purchasing these new covers. I do have the original self-published editions, but I will be buying the new Bloom editions because I do love this series. And I would also love to reread this series at some point, and the new editions are so pretty. They have the sprayed edges and stuff, so I am going to be buying the second book, Pure. The new Entangled edition of Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow will be released July 30th. I have not read this book, so I will be buying this new edition. I love the beautiful sprayed edges or like design on them. They're not really like sprayed. I think they'll just be like designed. Like I said, I haven't read this book, so I will be buying this new edition and reading it sometime this summer. Good Boy by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy is getting a new cover August 6th. This is the first book in the Wags duology. I read this book years ago. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to repurchase this new edition. I don't own the first edition. If I'm at a new angle, it's because my camera died, but I don't know if I need this new edition. I would love to reread this book, but I don't think I need this new edition. And then August 6th, we also have the new edition of Deity by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the third book in the Covenant series. So those are all the new releases and the re-releases. And now I'm going to quickly go through some other books that I'm probably going to end up reading this summer. So we have The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. This did come out in the spring, but I haven't had time to read it yet, so I am hoping to read it this summer. This is a sports romance. I believe the hero is a NFL player and our heroine becomes his agent, but there's also like second chance romance, I'm pretty sure. I haven't really heard much about this from reviews or anything like that, but I loved Practice Makes Perfect, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this. Then we have kind of a summer romance, or I'm assuming it's kind of summery, and that is Love Next Door by Helena Hunting. I've had this on my TBR for years, so hopefully I will finally get around to reading this. I believe the heroine goes back to her small town, or she goes back to this lake that she used to go to as a kid maybe, and somebody lives in the new cottage next door. I love Helena Hunting, so I'm sure this is also going to be a fun, entertaining read. The next 2 books I have on my TBR for the summer are 2 books that I'm hoping to read for a reading vlog. So I'm hoping to read a couple of cowboy romances. I just want to read cowboy romances for one vlog, so I'm going to save Dust Storm by Maggie Gates and Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope for that vlog. I also have some other books that I'm possibly going to read for the vlog. I don't want to spoil those yet, but I'm hoping to read maybe 2 or 3 other cowboy romances. And I think it'll be fun to vlog and read these in the summertime. Now finally, I'm going to get onto my TBR jar picks for June, July, and August. I will link my first TBR jar video down below if you want to get more information, but essentially I just pick a book to read each month and I take my time reading that book. I take like the whole month to read it. It's not a rush. It's just a fun way for me to try to read some of my backlist physical books on my TBR that I've had for years, and this is just kind of trying to motivate me to read more of those. So I have all of my physical books in here, and I'm just gonna dump them in this little bowl so that it's easier to grab. Also, I quickly want to say for March, April, and May. I read March and April's pick, but May's pick I ended up DNFing. I'll explain more after, but I just wasn't enjoying the book, so I DNF'd it. But I kind of need like a suggestion of how to move forward if I decide to DNF one. Like, should I pick another one, or I don't really know. But anyways, let's pick for June. Oh my gosh. We have, oh, The Smell of Other People's Houses. This is a short one. I will go grab all the books in a second, but I'm going to pick July's next. Okay, we have, oh, Guilt. This is a YA historical fiction. Now for my August pick. Oh, this is a big one. Oh my god, what is this? Oh, Love in the Time of Serial Killers. This is actually perfect for August because this is prepping for spooky season. Actually, that's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go grab the books really quick. Okay, so we have The Smell of Other People's Houses up here. I'll need two hands to grab that. Then we have Love in the Time of Serial Killers right here. Then we have Guilt, which is down here. There we go. Okay, so I grabbed the books here. So for June, like I said, we have The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. This is a, I guess, literary fiction. They live in Alaska on the cold edge of America, where each one must find the strength, courage, and heart to survive. This is very short, so I feel like I can fly through this, and I love how this is my June pick because I have a lot going on in June, so I don't have a lot of free time to read, but this is like the perfect length, and hopefully I'll enjoy this. I mean, obviously I can DNF any of these if I am really not enjoying the book, but the goal is to try to finish them. Then we have July's pick, which is Guilt by Catherine Longshore. This is a young adult historical fiction. I have read the second book in the series, Tarnish, which I really enjoyed. I think I gave it 4 stars back in the day. This is the first book, so I did kind of skip to the second book, but I'm now going to read the first book for July. This follows Kitty, who has always lived in the shadow of her best friend, Kat. Then Kat worms her way into the court of King Henry VIII and into the king's heart. Okay, so Kitty becomes part of the inner circle. I think there's just drama, obviously, at the court and stuff. I'm excited to finally read this. And then for August, we have Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. I believe the heroine is obsessed with true crime, and she meets her new neighbor who she thinks is a serial killer. This is a very low average rating on Goodreads. I almost read this for my reading the highest and lowest rated books on my TBR. This was almost the one that I read for the lowest. I love this cover. I just think it's so pretty, and that is part of the reason why I bought this book in the first place. So I'm excited to see how I feel about this, and I think it'll be the perfect book to read right before spooky season. I quickly have a question regarding my TBR jar picks. So obviously the goal is to like read the book to get it off of my physical TBR and to kind of read my backlist titles. But obviously I can DNF the book if I'm not enjoying it. And I have been DNFing more books recently, and I've been enjoying that because it gives me more time to just read other things that I'm enjoying. But what if I do DNF these? Like, do I pick a new book from my TBR jar, or do I just leave the month free and not read a TBR jar pick? But then I feel like I'm not reading that extra book that I wanted to read, because I wanted to read, you know, an extra, I think like 10 books for the year because I started it in March. So if I keep DNFing them, I just feel like I'm not really getting ahead, I guess. But then I am technically getting it off my TBR because I don't want to read it anymore. But then I have been thinking about, what if I just pick an extra book to fall on to if I do DNF one of those? That way I have another book I could read instead. But then if I do read all of those, then the other extra book I picked I'm not reading, then I guess it could just go back on my shelves. I don't know. Let me know what I should do about DNFing my TBR jar picks, if there is another way. Also, like if I do DNF these and I pick another book, obviously you're not going to see that in a video unless like I make just a really quick video of me picking a new one. So that was it for all of my summer reading plans. Let me know what you're hoping to read in the summer or any new releases that you're anticipating. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.